This is the Fifth Down NFL newsletter, and I'm your host, Tony Tucker. Each week, I'm going to pick 5 topics. It could be head-to-head matchups. It could be past stuff. It could be future stuff. Who knows? It could be gambling. But whatever it is, I'm going to try to keep it mostly positive because here, we want fans to have that juice, be just fully amped up, headed into Sunday for their matchup.
Let's do it. Second down right here. Mike and I are each going to give our teams that we think can have a second half playoff run, whether that is the 7-8 games, depending on who has buys, doesn't, whatever it is in the final 8 weeks here. We encourage you to also do that in the comments if you're watching this. Mike, do you want to go first? Do you want to go second? Where are you at?
Let me go first because I don't have a backup plan.
There you go.
My thought process on this was tough because I like to be bold, I should say. So, seeing what the Miami defense did the other night against one of the best offenses in the league, in my opinion, had me thinking Miami, maybe. Miracle run at the AFC. The bottom seed in the AFC right now is 5-5. I believe the Dolphins have 3 wins, so there'd be 2 wins out of it as of right now. I don't feel like they have the QB consistency, let's say, whether it's him staying on the field or him playing well on the field when he's on the field, to make that type of dominant run that they would need to go basically win out. So I'm going all the way back full circle to the team that I'm avoiding because I don't want to be boring. It's the team that's going to do it. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. They have the schedule to win enough games down the stretch here. Even if they lose to our Chargers this weekend on Sunday Night Football, they only got to pull off 1 or 2 upsets from there, at least in my eyes, like against the Steelers here and I think maybe another team late in the season. I feel like Cincinnati still has the squad, especially offensively, to keep up with any team in the league. I'm sweating this week going against them. It's really the defense, and it's been absolutely awful. It's why I was so confident in the Ravens beating them because their defense has been so bad. If they can tighten that up just a little bit, so they do have the players to do it, I think that their defensive line at least is really good. So they're leading in pressures. They got multiple guys on the sack list. They're getting pressure on the interior and around the edge. The secondary is getting absolutely cooked. They can just tighten up a little bit on defense. It doesn't even need to be a top 10 defense. I think the offense can carry them if they can get T. Higgins back on the football field. So my pick's the Bengals. It would be a miracle. I think even if they beat the Chargers this week, they will still be 2 games out.
So I'm over here like scrambling because I had you taking the Dolphins. Like in my mind, I was like, Mike's going to take the Dolphins. So I had done a little bit of research for that already. And so then I'm like scrambling as you're talking, like who it is. Land on the Bengals. Bengals schedule remaining this week against the Chargers. Then they're at home against the Steelers. They go to Dallas, go to Tennessee, at home against the Browns. Key matchup, Broncos in week 17. They get them at home. And then they finish the game off with the season off with the Steelers. Now, if the Steelers aren't playing for seeding, that could actually be like a great matchup for them where it's like, hey, they're not game planning. They're resting some of these guys on defense that are a little bit banged up. And maybe that's a must win for them where they get to that 9-8 mark that they need to get to. Something tells me that Tomlin is like, I don't want these dudes. I know how good they are sneaking in. We're going to go ahead and just smash them no matter what, if we can.
And also the element of bringing Fields in for 1 game, that's tough to deal with for 1 game out of nowhere at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, they will, obviously have the tape from the beginning of the year there. I like this pick. I definitely considered it. I also considered the Dolphins was a team that I really liked. But again, we go back to like health of the quarterback situation, health of Tyreek Hill. Now, they played pretty well on Monday night without him really making a huge difference. The pick of Malik Washington, where like sometimes the best strategy is like, hey, where are we strong at? Let's make that even stronger. Let's draft Jalen Wright. Let's draft Malik Washington. Like they're getting these guys in the building, and it's like these guys just add to what already makes them dynamic. The team that I went with, though, and I started to waver a little bit this morning when I saw that Anthony Richardson was being put back in as the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. But I thought highly of Richardson in the offseason. I am somebody who does not like to bail on younger quarterbacks. We've talked about Bryce Young on this channel before. I'm not part of the let's bench Caleb phenomenon that's going around the internet right now that I clearly do not understand. But when I look at the Colts schedule, they got the Jets this week, Lions, Patriots, Broncos, Titans, Giants, Jags. It sounds like 5 wins to me. You know, like as I'm going through and I'm looking at where they're home, I don't like them obviously against the Lions, but they are going to get a game against the Broncos. So it's like that Broncos, Colts, Bengals, Dolphins are all like, which one of these teams can get to 9 wins and get that spot right there?